Franchising is the most misunderstood and most overlooked form of entrepreneurship. We're here to educate you and help you find the entrepreneur within. Franchising is not all about the French fries.
We find that individuals who are exploring business ownership tend to have a lot of misperceptions and misunderstandings about the franchise industry. So what we want to do is help prospective business owners make confident and educated decisions before moving forward or not moving forward with a business. Welcome to Unpredicted Entrepreneur.
Hi, welcome to our 100th episode of Unpredicted Entrepreneur. I'm Roxanne Rapske, and this is my colleague, Sara Waskow. We created this podcast to bring you education and information about business ownership and all things franchising. We are so excited to be hitting this major milestone, and we're celebrating by bringing you the most memorable and remarkable moments from our guests.
So over the last 99 episodes, we have interviewed founders, we've interviewed franchisees, lenders, attorneys, you name it. And so today we're going to be sharing with you some of their words of wisdom over the last few episodes. It's fast, it's powerful, it's unfiltered. So let's dive in.
Over the last 4 years, we've found some common themes. Let's start with mindset. Entrepreneurship is as much an internal game as it is a financial one. You'll also hear our guests talk about fear, the fear of failure and the fear of the unknown, and how they were able to work through that and move forward anyway.
When they tell you early on, you think that you cannot afford help. And I was that person. I'm like, no, I cannot afford help. Not until I invested in help, I said, how did I not do this sooner? So you need help. Now, as a CEO mindset, what I think of, okay, this is what needs to be done. Who can I get to do it?
Mindset matters, and you will create your future, and it all has to do with your mindset. And if you know you can do it, you can do it. And also, small actionable steps lead to a great outcome, and just stick with it, keep going, have a positive mindset, know that you can do it, and you'll do it.
In my 20s, I learned that I have a choice in life, and that choice is be a victim. Woe is me. I had a bad childhood. Or be a victor. I'm in control of my destiny. I'm in control of my mind. I'm in control of my future. And so one of the most rewarding things I can do is talk to groups of young people and talk about this is a decision. I also have one of my favorite things that I love to talk about, which is what I believe are the 5 common characteristics of all highly successful people. And the great thing is they're all learned skills. It isn't how you were born or what your parents were, but it's positive mental attitude, goal-directed behavior, self-motivation, a sense of urgency, and never stopping learning. And so when I get to talk to high school kids and college kids about, hey guys, we all had tough childhoods. We all had tough things. And you're short and you're tall and you're black and you're white and you're whatever it is, right? You might think that I don't have as many opportunities because I'm a woman. Whatever those crazy things is, those are all in your mind, right? You create more value for your employer. You're going to get promotions and pay raises and bonuses. You work hard to implement the model of your franchise. If you become a franchisee, you're going to create great generational wealth for your family. So the reality is we control our destinies by the choices that we make. And it's about mindset, and it's about drive. It's about learning.
Driver number 1 is mindset. You have to have a growth mindset, a next level mindset, because being a business owner, it is hard work. There's a lot of things that you constantly have to evolve with the business. There's an old saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. That's a military application. Well, in business, no plan survives first contact with the market. No plan survives first contact with the customer, prospective customer. In other words, you have to adapt. So that mindset of growth, how do I continually learn from my wins? How do I learn from the mistakes and avoid them in the future? How do I learn from other franchisees who are doing well? It's being prepared for that. I think the driver 1 really helps people get into that right mindset level.
Get out of your comfort zone. Don't be scared. Well, don't be scared. Get out of your comfort zone. Try something new. Failure is not always an option, but try it and see how best it works for you. I'm perfect example of getting out of that comfort zone. I'm comfortable teaching kids, and I had to look past that and say, hey, for my family, we need something else. So I have to do something else. I can't do the same thing and expect a different result. And this is me getting out of my comfort zone, doing something different, looking for a better result.
Yeah,
So,
it'll never be easy.
It will never
Never
be
easy. And it's never without fear, and
no.
there's always risk. There's no guarantees. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So when people go through these emotions and, second guessing or whatever it is, that's a completely normal thing.
So you're saying that you had fear on unit number 10 and 11, just like you did
Still
on
did.
unit number 1.
And we're going to do it again. And I know we'll kind of, and but does it make it easier because of proven track history? Listen, if my wife and I were doing this on our own, I'd be really afraid.
Fear is very normal. And we always tell our clients we would be worried about them if there wasn't some level of fear. You're going into something new that you've never tried before. This next segment covers grit and perseverance. You can have the best business and the best systems, but it takes grit to keep moving forward. So these clips are going to highlight how grit and perseverance can really make the difference between achieving success and giving up.
And I try to remember to be grateful, and that even though as an entrepreneur, you're just constantly wanting to grow and you want to feel secure, that it's not going to happen overnight. And you need to be okay with that and remind yourself, okay, I've made progress. I'm continuing to make progress, and be grateful for it and keep doing the things that have worked for you so far, getting out in your community, making contacts with people who can help you either be more effective or more efficient, whatever it might be. Just keep trying to hit the places that can help you grow.
Couple keys that have always been on top of my mind is patience and persistence. So with that patience, I like to say urgency of effort, but patience for the results, because, there's very few business owners that felt like they made more faster than they expected to. Usually it's the other way around. And so you got to have patience, and allow the momentum and the compounded effort to materialize. And then the persistence, because there's going to be challenges, ups and downs, financial headwinds, stuff in your control, outside of your control, but you got to have that sort of grit and resilience to be able to navigate it.
Stick to it. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time.
But what that taught me in that time is I had to have grit to continue.
Behind so many successful entrepreneurs is a supportive spouse or partner. Our guests share how having that support made taking the risk and jumping into business ownership seem more possible. Because of this, we choose to work with clients who involve their significant other in our process.
I can't thank my family enough, because that support system is so strong. So my father, my husband, and then Kira, we all kind of pitch in where we need to, so that no one person has to carry the full load. And I think as a business owner, that's huge, because a lot of times we are juggling so much that if we don't have that additional support, we're burning out. We're, barely holding on sometimes, where I feel like I can leave Kira with my dad and I know she'll be fine because grandpa's got it.
Because it was like the wife in the beginning, she was hands off in the business. Her husband did most of the work. And for my wife and I, she's like, this is for you. But as they grew, they realized that, hey, the wife is now fully invested in it. And that's what I wanted for me and my family. Yes, I'm starting, but I want it to be more of a family oriented for us. My wife, my kids, we want to be fully involved. And that's where we're at right now. She hasn't left her job yet, but she is fully into it and fully invested in this business.
I love that. And it's another thing we harp on is spousal involvement. Danielle has a corporate job. She's very busy doing her job, as you pointed out, but she was very involved in the due diligence, was on all the calls and listened in so that you could make this decision together.
Very important. Your wife was supportive. That's very important, to have a supportive spouse at home. But the other thing that was interesting, and I hope you're watching this, Bill, because I'm going to give you a shout out. Your dad went through this process with you. Really for support, and he's in commercial lending, commercial real estate. That's right. He was not a big fan of franchising, but he just doesn't, his own words, doesn't really understand the model. But he was there to support you. He was open-minded. And I was just really impressed by the support that Will had, even from somebody that was like, I don't really know about this whole franchise thing, but if this is what my son wants to do.
One other thing I just want to elaborate on was Andrea's support of Mike through this whole process that we didn't really touch on. But Andrea had a side business in addition to her mom duties. And then when Mike decided to make this investment and move forward with Exercise Coach, she got a job at the school, got insurance, and helped him get up and running. And then now is 100% stepped away from the school job and working together. So we
important.
Love that.
Spousal support is so important. You cannot do this without that. So.
Our next series of clips talk about partnership and collaboration. Going into business with someone can be powerful if it's the right fit. Finding the right partner where you communicate well and have mutual respect and communication can make all the difference in a successful partnership.
Omar and I met in 10th grade. We like to joke we were partners in crime in high school and partners in business now, post college. But I think, a lot of people aspire to be able to go into business with a friend or with a family member. And there's a lot of horror stories out there about how that ends up. And I think for us, what has always been the key to our success as a partnership is that our vision, in other words, where we're going as a brand, as a business, and our values, kind of what we stand for, how we get there, have always been in alignment. So while we may disagree on certain tactics or may have different approaches to how we do things on a day-to-day basis, we've sort of always kept an open mind, an open line of communication, of trust, and and accountability.
That's what needs to be figured out in advance, because usually what you have is if you have one person who's really the one living in the business, their business decisions and outcomes can feel very personal to them. And the money person is usually the one looking at everything strictly from a business perspective. Is this either profitable or leading to profitability? But when you have a partnership and one person is buying in for equity, for ownership of the enterprise, they're going to have voting rights. They're going to have maybe management rights. And when I say management, I mean that over the entity, not necessarily the day-to-day operations. But they want to have input because from their view, they have put in a significant sum of money and they want to make sure not only are they going to get that back eventually, but that they're going to get a return on that investment as well. And so the person who's put the money in, even if they have no plans to be hands-on in the business, they're going to be hands-on in the books, right? They're going to want financial statements. They're going to want access to the bank account. And they want to know where money's going, where it's coming from as well. And they want to have input if they think that the company is missing out on growth opportunities, or even if they're just missing out on a partnership distribution. Oftentimes, too, the people that have that cash to put into the business, they've got experience doing this. And so if you have someone running the business who's kind of new to it and another person with a lot of experience who's putting in cash, they may feel like, well, I've done this before, I've invested in other companies. And so they may also come into the relationship with a certain set of expectations. And so again, that's why it's so important to have these conversations very, very early on, before the relationship is even really legally established. Hopefully, your business has grown or pivoted toward growth, and your partnership agreement is something just like your business plan that should change over time as your business changes. Just at the end of the day, a partnership is a contract between the owners, and so it can be amended just like any other contract can. Just like if you refinance a loan or amend, a distributorship agreement and have a new agreement with someone, the same is true for your partnership agreements.
Our partnership works really well is I think by and large we have the same work ethic, and I have not one day in 20 plus years wondered like if Sarah is where, if she's given it all she's got, not one time. And, and we've had different phases of life. We've both raised babies. We've both been at home full time raising kids, and, but we've had the same drive and the same motor. And I think that's been a real asset for both of us, because we can count on each other no matter what in that way.
As a matter of fact, my father used to say, never go into business with a partner, much less a family member. So,
gosh, I've never heard that before. we may have never said that before.
And to some degree, he's right. But look, business it's hard to get something off the ground by yourself, right? Yeah. And so you need to have other people with skin in the game. I think in our situation, we're a little bit apart in age, and we weren't like really close before this. So I think a lot of divine intervention happened here, where we kind of filled in each other's gaps as far as skill set goes, the things that we enjoy. I have more of a sales and marketing background. Josh more enjoys, administrative type of work. He enjoys like creating things. The IT aspect he brought a lot to the table. And so the things that he likes to do, I don't like to do, and vice versa. So it's just the way our personalities mesh. So if anybody out there is looking for a partner, you can't have two yous. You're going to butt heads. You might agree a lot, but you're going to butt heads, and neither one of you are going to want to do some of the things that you do well. So, I think you just need to find the right personality fit. In any relationship, especially a business partnership, you have to be a good listener. You can't be dismissive of someone else's opinion.
Our next topic is networking, or as I like to say, shaking hands and kissing babies. Business is all about relationships. And these next clips highlight the hustle behind making those relationships, whether it's at a chamber mixer shaking hands or out in your community making connections.
The first network organization I joined in 2009 was Plano Chamber of Commerce. I think in May of 2009.
So was that a little bit scary for you, having
believe me,
walking into the chamber meeting and not knowing anyone as a new member?
Terrifying, because I remember standing up on it. The meeting is at 7:30 a.m. on Friday mornings, right? I would stand up. I have all this 30-second commercial prepared, and I would stand up and I forget what I'm saying and I choke.
We've all been there.
Right. And, I really appreciate all these business professionals who are in the room. They would just, really very encouraging. After the meeting, they would come up to me and say, hey, this has happened to all of us, right? Yep. Don't give up on it, right? So it will get better. It will get better. So I met all these, business owners who were there for me. So I leaned in and really embraced their kindness and help, and really became friends with them. And it started getting easier to kind of stand up and speak and really meet eye to eye with people, right, when I'm speaking. So, I know I cannot believe where I am today with that, but I'd never forget how uncomfortable it was to go into the room. And even when you go into these evening networking meetings, you'd see this group of people standing in a circle. Now, how do I go break in and say hello and get into that circle?
I do Instagram, Facebook, through normal stuff like that. I post on online, but I also learned how to network. It was not something that came natural to me, but networking, going out, meeting with networking groups, meeting people, doing face-to-face, talking, getting out of my comfort zone, walking into buildings and offices and say, hey, hi, how are you? I'm David with New Creations North Dallas. What do you do, David? And then I can just go. And then you hear no, and then you're like, okay, I'll be back here next week. And we'll talk again.
Good job.
We'll talk again. And they're like, tell me what you do. But it's a lot of me getting out of my comfort zone and meeting with people, talking with people, sharing what I do, sharing my experiences. And people work with people that they know and they trust.
Yeah. So I love hearing you talk about networking because it is a key element of growing a business. You don't have a storefront.
No.
So somehow people have to find out about what you do, and you do have to get out of your comfort zone. But are you finding it to be fun now as you're starting to?
I am finding it to be fun. Initially when I started, it was scary. It was scary. I'm used to talking to teenagers. I'm used to talking to kids. I'm comfortable in that space. But going out and speaking with adults who have been in business for a long time, I've never been in business before. There's terminologies that were being used that I was like, I have no clue what it was. Wow. So I've had to get out there and learn. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it now.
And don't you feel that the networking groups embrace you? Like when you're a new business coming in, I feel like like the Chamber of Commerce or, these people want to see you succeed. They want to be around other business owners. Right. And I feel like it's scary for you, but I don't think on the other side, I think everyone's just so welcoming that makes it a lot easier.
They're very welcoming.
Yeah.
My networking group, Master Network, was very welcoming. I remember my first time and I had to stand up and introduce myself and I was just fumbling over my words. I knew what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't get it out. And slowly I've mastered that art of explaining what I do, and they've embraced me. I'm comfortable now.
I always tell people when they're getting ready to start a business, you're kind of like a politician. You need to be out shaking hands and kissing babies. And fortunately for you, it sounds like you did pre-opening marketing, you were out in the community. That piece of it is so important because then people knew who you were and they knew you were there, and you can't just hang an open sign and expect the masses to come. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, that is a huge part of it. And it's probably one of the most intimidating parts of it.
Yes.
I am not necessarily someone who wants to be out there saying, hi, my name is. Like, it's one of the hardest parts you have to do, but it is one of the most vital parts of what you have to do. And I've spent the 6 months leading up to our opening just going to any and every event, wearing a shirt with the brand on it, and introducing myself and telling them why I was different, and just boots to the ground.
I was never really taught growing up in college or really even in law school is the importance of your network. I mean, yeah, you kind of know it, but no, you got to have a strategy, you got to have a plan, and you got to have a way to develop relationships. And so networking is huge. You know, a large part of our business comes from past clients, comes from professional referrals, comes from attorney referrals or other people that we meet at different events and whatnot. And so I'm a huge proponent of getting out there, networking in a way that you enjoy, right? That's not just going to an event saying you went there, but actually doing those things that you enjoy, because those are the things that you're going to do continuously, and having a strategy in place. Like, okay, how do I put myself in a position where I'm going to meet people and be able to provide value to those people, and start developing that network that could send business my way.
You mean you don't just show up and jam your business card in as many people's hands as possible?
Oh, Lord have mercy. That if I get like 3 of those when I walk in the door, hey, buy my tchotchke, it drives me nuts. And LinkedIn is just as bad. I can't tell you how many direct messages I get on LinkedIn of, oh, here's what I do. Please buy my service or use me for this. And I'm like, hi, I'm Scott, right? No, yeah, I approach it completely the other way around. I'm more the go-giver methodology of, look, I want to provide value to people. Yeah. If it ever gets returned, that's not my concern right then. I just want to be someone who can deliver value to others.
So you just put yourself out there. Yeah. And so one, kind of tidbit is that this business requires somebody out in the community. She always says kissing babies, shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah. Being the mayor. Yeah.
Being the mayor to build up that trust, and people know you're there and how to reach you.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes business people are very, very much introverts, and networking is challenging. And so that brings in this unforgettable. How can you be unforgettable? Whether it's wearing a bright colored blazer, a fun pair of sneakers. I just helped write a article for CNN_ about how colorful sneakers are coming back in style. That's a great way to be fun, authentic, and still start a conversation. If you go to a networking event and you're giving someone a reason to come up and say something to you, like, oh, I love your colored blazer, I love your shoes, or that's a fun tie, or whatever it is, then you don't have to be the one who initiates the conversation. And it makes you memorable.
What an incredible ride. These voices remind us that business ownership isn't about perfection. It's about people, persistence, and purpose.
We are so grateful to our listeners and our amazing guests. If you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who's ready to take the leap. We are so excited for the next 100 episodes.
Woohoo! Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you listening today. My name again is Sara Waskow. It's Waskow. This is Roxanne Rapske, Rapske. We are very active on LinkedIn. We would love to connect with you there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at FranNet in Dallas and Fort Worth. And you can find Unpredicted Entrepreneur on your favorite podcast platform. We look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.